Hi everybody, my name is Steve Griffiths, Managing Director of MTPredictor Limited and developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to take a look at a chart of the 3-minute Nasdaq, that's the NQ, so 3-minute NQ yesterday, that is Friday the 8th of April. In particular, let's start by looking at the automatic setups. Here we had an automatic TS4 buy here. This was a valid setup because it was against a blue STF. The market then rallied up into a TS3 sell. Again, this was a valid setup because it was against a red STF. We then had two potential sells that were -1 hour losses, as indicated by our history triangles here later in the day. So to start with, let's have a look at what the standard traders would have been doing by just taking these setups. So the first TS4 buy would have come in here and you'd have been long 6 contracts on a sample $20,000 account risking 2%. This is our position sizing. If I clear that off for a second, you'll notice that when we get to our TS3 sell, because it's a valid sell, you'll be stopping reversing. So let's put the risk reward on at that level. So up into that first trade, into that first high there, it had been plus 1.4R. Remember, we always look at profits in terms of risk units and not outright dollars, because this is what's important. Our next trade, using standard trade management, would have come in as a short trade here at this high. Again, it's valid because of red STF. At the first target, if we look here, the first target, excuse me, if we come down, the STF would be weak when it reached the first target, which is here. Should have come out with plus 3.6R. So that's 3.6 plus 1.4. So far you're plus 5R up, which is a very good result. And even if you'd then taken the two trades later on, because the risk was small and under control at just -1R, so in other words you'd just lose one risk unit. Again, that's why we use position sizing, because at -1R, then another -1R is -2R. So even when you have just two profits and two losses, that's 50% either way, because the profits were larger than the losses, you'd have made plus 5R on your profits and lost -2R on your losses, and that equals plus 3R overall for the day. So as you can see, the use of correct position sizing in MTPredictor has enabled you to come out with a profitable trade, or a profitable day overall. But that's for standard traders. But now I'd like to look at advanced traders, and this is where things really start to get exciting. So to start with, let's have a look at the 15-minute chart. This is what we always do to set the trends for the day. And this is the exciting part, is because we can actually put these levels on in advance, and that shows the real power of the MTPredictor software program. So here, let's go forward excuse me, to before the start of the day. Here we have a DP, or a swing pivot here. So let's put a DP level off this high here, and therefore we knew we had resistance up at this level here around the 23.41. As we've seen, the market opened and went right up into that level, and that in fact actually turned out to be the high of the day. So there you were, prepared in advance before the market even opened, with a level that nailed the high of the day. Let's come back to this level here, and we can see we have one decision point down here at about 23.19. Now I'm just going to make a note of that, 23.19, because you'll see how that will help when I go back onto the 3-minute chart. Then the next level off this DP swing low down here at the 23.07 mark. Now if I just scroll forward, you can see that the market went straight through this level, went down to here, and look where the low of the day was, right in this lower decision point. So here you were, enabled to predict in advance, and that's the important thing. These levels were on the chart before the market got there. Levels that nailed both the high of the day and the low of the day. Now that's pretty spectacular trading. So let's go back to the 3-minute chart and see how this would have helped us. Here's the 3-minute chart. Now if I go back to before the market opened, which was here, let's put the DP off this high, which is the equivalent high to the 15-minute chart. And there we were. Market gapped up and made a red sell reversal bar. And as we know, that nailed the very high of the day for you. Look at that. Right at the high of the day. And in fact, some MTPredictor customers that we were talking to in our webinar on Friday actually sold that and took a trade down into this TS4 buy setup here for a lovely plus 2.5R. So they had an extra trade of what we call a gap open for another plus 0.25R. Now the important points is as we go forward, when we get to this TS3 sell. So do you remember on the 15-minute chart I said that the next 15-minute resistance was down at 23.19? So that's not at the first level here, which is 23.22. It's actually down here somewhere, 23.19. So that then helps us manage this short trade, because rather than coming out when the market just hit this first level, we knew that there was a larger degree 15-minute support further down, so we can then look to trail the market or let the market run a bit further. So if we keep on going down, 23.19 is here. It's this bar that goes through here. So here's the 23.19 level, 23.19. So what we do is when the market gets to this level, we can now see that the STF is strong, in other words past its strength barrier. We can now then say that we use the ATR stop, which is our red dot, to allow this trade to run a bit further. If I move forward, the ATR stopped the trade out just about here. So if I look at this, rather than coming out at the first target at here for plus 3.6, knowing that you'll be running the target further down, then using the ATR stop to here, allowed you to come out with, rather than plus 3.6, in other words plus 8.2R. Now that's an absolutely fantastic trade, and you see that how we set that up by using the larger degree, in other words the 15-minute targets that were on the chart in advance. And as we've also seen, the market put a low in, then rallied up. But let's go back and I'll just scroll this out a bit, and this is amazing as well, is here is the 15-minute low that we had on our 15-minute chart. So if I come back here and put the decision point on this low, here it is, and if I drag this across a bit further and zoom out, oops, missed with my mouse, drag it out again, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see, here we are nailing the very low of the day. Now this is absolutely spectacular, because not only do we have a short trade off the high of the day for plus 2.5R, but we also managed to increase the profit on this TS3 sell from our original plus 3.6 down into plus 8.2. Yes, that's 8 times the initial risk. As the market was rallying off support, we'd probably avoided these two losing trades. So that's the difference between the standard trader and the advanced trader in MTPredictor, in that the advanced trader can use the 15-minute charts to project these 15-minute support and resistance levels in advance, and this is a great example to show how powerful they are, in that here we actually nailed the very high of the day and nailed the very low of the day, and in between that managed to get some absolutely massive trades. So yet another great example of how the MTPredictor software program can help you when trading markets like this, in that not only projecting support and resistance targets in advance, but also using correct position sizing and trade management to help maximize your profits and have profits that are much larger than losses, and that's the key to successful trading. So a very good day on the 3 and 15-minute NQ on Friday.